you just said, working here in Argentina, now you don't have the control of the players because they play in Europe. What's your opinion about our system now? We are here in Deportiva Francesa, Dogos and Pampas are playing. It's hard looking forward without a high performance team in professional rugby.
Well, first of all, I don't need control of the players. Players need control of themselves.
Okay, I like that.
Well, it's the truth. I can't force anyone to do anything. Right? If you have to force someone to prepare the best, to do whatever it takes to be prepared, not just to win, but be prepared to win, like the process. If I have to force them, well, what's the point? And they're doing that, the players. I've seen them, I'm hearing them. It'll grow as we get closer. You can't be you need to have balance. But yeah, I don't need control. They need to control themselves. And they will, they do, they are already. I like what I'm seeing when I come here. I spoke yesterday and we talked with the referees. I've been to the training. The competition is growing, and I like the philosophy of, okay, who's playing in these? All of a sudden now there's another level of player playing, lots of younger guys, which should help under 20s when they go to the World Cup in July. It will help these teams find more quality, because sometimes, as good as we think we are to pick the quality, we're not always going to find. So sometimes now we pick this guy and all of a sudden he's a good player. Look, I came to watch one game last year when it was the SLA. And I watched Morales playing for another franchise outside of Argentina, and now he's playing for the Kings. So sometimes it's just about getting the opportunity for players to take. And I think this format now, with many more players, good coaching, there's a real effort to put everything in a line. And I tell you from my experience, this is not easy to do, to have everyone. I think everyone's making very good effort and intention.
Talking about the game, in which aspects do you think that the team has to work more? In which aspect are you happy?
Yeah, I think last year we set ourselves some goals of what we wanted to improve priority. I think we've had improvements, which we obviously still have to improve more in Scrum. Definitely, we've had some great improvements in our work around the ruck. I think our defence has improved as well. And in some games, not all, our penalties, our choices were good. We didn't give. So I feel like the big work, without giving away too much, I don't like to tell too much, the other teams are probably watching, is I like to be more consistent at the high level. I think for me,
It's our Achilles?
I don't think it's our Achilles, no. I think it's just learning.
For our rugby. Because we always talk about Pumas, consistency.
But that's maybe because we don't, maybe we don't expect to win as much as we should. Not expect to win, but prepare,
be prepared.
Confident to win, and confident that we can win. Not that we're obviously going to every game to win, but confident we can win. We've got some of the best players playing rugby in Europe at the moment. So I think that if we had some great games last year, probably they were, I'm a coach, so I always talk about the disappointing ones. It was probably the game against Wales. I felt like we went well against England and we had a good reaction afterwards. It wasn't too much distraction, but just towards the end of the week, we lost that extra focus, and we could have gone win twice in a row there, good for confidence again, So but that will help us learn for the next time, So, and be ready for this. And I think the players know, so I don't have to tell them. And all of this about consistency comes back to how we prepare. We're preparing well, and we can prepare better, in small things, both as a team, as coaches, and as individuals, and that's what we'll try and do this year.
terms of players, specific players, Santiago Carreras plays some matches as a number 10 in Gloucester. You do it. The coach finally chose him. Nico Sanchez is playing. Tony Albornoz too. They are the three players fighting for that jersey.
Well, at the moment, yes, you know what I mean. I think that I've heard about the young fella who's going to play out here today from Pampas as well, coming through the ranks. So, but I think, I'll tell you what I have also, look, I've also seen Wanchi Malia playing 5'8" for Toulouse in the last few weeks and doing a great job. Now, that's not to say we're going to pick, he's a fullback for us, you know, but there's options there for us. And I like that I really like the fact Nico Sanchez made the decision to go to a team that's struggling. Yeah, breathe, that's struggling. And he's helped them get back into the battle, you know, himself. He's putting, you know, there's still things he wants to improve, but he's putting his heart and soul. I went down and saw the guys in Breathe. We had a nice dinner together, or drinks, and you can see they're really trying to do well down there, and Nico as well. And Carreras and Matteo Alemano in Gloucester, they're playing nearly all the time. You know, they're really making good. More and more of our players are playing in the top. They're regular starters. Less and less guys who are on the bench, and they're regular starters playing more rugby, which is exactly what we want.
Bertrand injured. Gonchi Garcia injured. Basan Vélez injured. Tommy Kubeli goes back to the field in number 9. What are your thoughts about that? Eliseo Morales is playing.
Ellie's here. Young Albanese's here, right? Liardi's here. There's players here. Man, we are obviously trying to prepare the best players that we can, but injuries happen in rugby. Now, all of these players are going to be back before the World Cup. So maybe we go from having 2 or 3 to having 7. You know, when the time comes to pick. But it's nothing to worry about. But you need to plan accordingly. Obviously when they go to their clubs, it's a different type of medic. They're playing every week. There's lots of players. We give a lot of detail attention when they're with us in medical. So it was always, you know, when you're playing this much rugby, these things happen. And if it happens in the same position, you just need to be ready and prepared to get to the next thing. And you know, hopefully they'll all be back so they have the chance to compete for the competition.
I want to show you some pictures and you tell me your thoughts about that.
Okay.
For example, this squad announcement. When you start the process of making the list, how do you feel announcing the squad of a World Cup to the players?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm already making the list. You know? Yeah, of course.
You have a lot of names in the list?
I think we have you know the players, you know, there's a group of players that we've been looking at. There's a few others that maybe haven't played for us, that have either been injured or been out. A few, and then it's always nice to have the odd young guy come late. You know, if you look and show me that picture, it has Jordan Pataya.
Yeah.
He's a guy from Australia who I picked, you know, young guy.
We have to leave some spaces for surprises.
Well, not just because you want to make a surprise, because you see how they might help the team. Energy and enthusiasm of that is really important. But I think, you know, it's a very special occasion to be able to be picked for a World Cup. And I know this because I never got picked for a World Cup. Yeah, it's important. And I say often to the players, I know how important it is to play in the jersey because I never got one. You know, and I think that moment is big, but that's just the start. Once you get selected, it's not the finish, it's the start.
The start, yeah.
That's it. And you need to then go and, I don't know, work in a way and play in a way that you enjoy the World Cup, you're relaxed, you know there's good teams there, you know you're going to be playing against the best, and you lift your game, you raise your game to a place where maybe you didn't think it could go before. And this is what the World Cup does. It helps you take your game to another level.